Police reveal new details in a deadly Joplin fire, plus what lies in store for the historic Olivia apartment building in Joplin. And Time magazine names Joe Biden and Kamala Harris Person of the Year as they transition into the White House.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
2 Joplin women confessed to their role in the arson death of an elderly man. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Kate Kelly in for Dow Quick. The suspects, Tiffany Lukovich from Pittsburgh and Elizabeth Baez from Joplin, are charged with second-degree murder, first-degree arson, and first-degree domestic assault for the fire on South Pitcher that killed 68-year-old David Crowder on December 4th. Crowder's wife and another woman were sent to the hospital. Lukasiewicz says Baez arranged for people to assault Crowder before starting the fire. Baez reportedly helped Lukasiewicz out of the house before they made their escape. They later made a full confession to authorities. A bit after midnight, firefighters were called to the scene of 111 South Moffett Avenue to find a 3-story wood frame house ablaze. Crews acted fast, extinguishing the flames, staying on scene until a little after 5 a.m. No injuries were reported. The state fire marshal says the cause of the fire is undetermined. Despite suffering extensive fire damage, officials say there is still hope for the future of the historic Olivia apartment building. The cause of the rooftop fire is still undetermined as investigators have been unable to safely reach the top floor. Lori Hahn with the Downtown Joplin Alliance says they've coordinated a structural assessment with Bobby Campbell and Associates out of Kansas City. Pending the results of that assessment and the Missouri Housing Development Commission tax credits, plans to revitalize the buildings should go forward. For now, it's a waiting game.
As he was working his way towards the origin and area of fire, it became more unstable and unsafe, so he was unable to make it to the 5th floor. Based on his recommendation and his report, the state will be listing this fire as undetermined.
The structural assessment could take anywhere from a week to 10 days. Those pending tax credits could take several months before being approved. Missouri makes some slight changes to their vaccine distribution plan. During a press briefing, the director of the state health department said that the healthcare workers in the state could be vaccinated by next Thursday. That's if the FDA gives the Pfizer vaccine approval early next week. During the week of the 20th, more than 100,000 vaccines from Moderna will come to the state. 70,000 of those will be used by CVS and Walgreens to vaccinate residents and staff in long-term care facilities.
In one action, we will be able to vaccinate almost 2/3, if not more, of our long-term care facility population, probably starting December 28th, and do it very quickly.
Williams says the state should receive around 2 million vaccines by the end of February 2021. We'll hear more about Missouri and Oklahoma's plan tonight at 6. Today, the Joplin Health Department reported its 72nd COVID-19 death. Officials say the victim was a 73-year-old man. The Newton County Health Department also reported 2 new coronavirus-related deaths. One of the patients was a woman in her 80s. The other was a man in his 90s. Both were hospitalized before they died. This brings Newton County's total deaths to 57. Doug Hetty joins us now with our first look at weather on this cloudy day.
Hey, Kate. Yeah, we had rain throughout the morning hours. We had scattered showers into the early afternoon. Now, most of the rain is pushed off toward the east, and you can even see the clouds trying to break up a little bit on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side, but mostly cloudy skies for us during the overnight hours tonight, as just a few showers sticking around, but in general, we are looking better from what we had earlier today. You can still see snow on the back side of the system out through central and western Kansas. This is going to push northeast, so this will not affect us throughout the overnight hours. Temperatures starting to cool down. Most of us are sitting into the mid-40s. We'll drop back through the 40s down to about 40 by midnight, and I think we'll bottom out at about 37 or 38 degrees. It's going to be cold tomorrow. We got the clouds sticking around. We have 2 chances for snow. One on Sunday, one on Tuesday. We're going to break that down for you here in just a bit.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Doug. President-elect Joe Biden formally introduced several new cabinet nominees, including some familiar faces from his time as vice president. Meanwhile, President Trump is hopeful the Supreme Court will hear a lawsuit meant to block votes in several states Mr. Biden won. Natalie Brand is in Wilmington, Delaware, with more.
Fresh off their selection as Time Magazine Person of the Year, President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris presented several more cabinet nominees.
Vice President-elect Harris and I knew we'd have our work cut out for us when we got elected, but we also knew we could build a team that would meet this unique and challenging moment in American history.
The picks include some former Obama administration officials, also House Ways and Means Committee trade lawyer Katherine Tai for U.S. Trade Representative, and Ohio Congresswoman Marcia Fudge for HUD Secretary.
The job I'm asking you to do, Congresswoman, is critically important to everything that the Vice President and I believe is how we're going to build back better.
Before the event here in Delaware, Senator Harris went to Capitol Hill for a procedural vote ahead of the Senate's passage of a defense bill and a one-week funding measure to avert a government shutdown. This sets the stage for a funding showdown next week over a government spending bill and COVID relief. At the White House, President Trump referred to a Biden administration in a tweet as a, quote, scandal-plagued mess and called on the Supreme Court to save the USA.
The president's legal team is obviously doing everything they can. They would like to be able to argue before the Supreme Court.
The High Court could decide by the end of the day whether to hear a Texas case that seeks to block electoral votes in 4 battleground states Mr. Biden won. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Wilmington, Delaware.
Wisconsin is one of the 4 battleground states targeted by that Texas case. This morning, a judge rejected the Trump campaign's challenge to its election results and reaffirmed President-elect Biden as its winner by more than 20,000 votes. European Union leaders have ended their 2-day summit in Brussels. During the meeting, they reached a hard-fought deal to cut the bloc's net greenhouse gas emissions by at least 55% by the end of the decade compared with 1990 levels. The agreement avoids a deadlock ahead of a UN climate meeting this weekend. That's news and weather in the first 7 minutes of KOAM News at 5. Next in Health Watch, we're watching our weight.
The link between the pandemic and childhood obesity. I'm Naomi Ruckham with how parents can keep kids healthy in these uncertain times.
Topping Health Watch, the stress and life changes during the pandemic has led many of us to pack on the pounds. The American Academy of Pediatrics is raising concerns about children's nutrition and physical activity during this difficult time. Naomi Ruckham has more on what parents need to know.
The Adair family is adapting to many changes in the pandemic, from virtual learning to canceled sports and activities. They're working hard to stay active and eat right.
A lot of family walks, online school. It made it a little bit harder to prepare meals. So we have our Instant Pot pressure cooker that's been helping us make healthier meals.
It's been a challenge for many families. Dr. Lisa Denike is a pediatrician with Kaiser Permanente.
We're seeing a lot of weight gain in children of all ages, which I think is mirroring a lot of what we're seeing in our parents and families.
Dr. Denike says we just don't burn as many calories in front of screens all day.
Being at home all day lends itself to constant snacking or grazing. The other is eating is a coping skill. It releases the feel-good hormones in our brains when we eat.
New research shows an estimated 19% of children and adolescents in the U.S. are obese, which can have long-term health implications.
Obesity lends itself to a lot of healthcare issues in young adults, and actually even in older teens. We're seeing now a lot of type 2 diabetes, heart problems, kidney problems, high blood pressure.
Dr. Denike suggests parents schedule sleep and wake times, meals during the day, and 30 to 60 minutes of sweaty physical activity daily. And they need to be good role models, something Joanna is embracing.
Doing kinds of activities as a family, I think, is really important because they see the parents wanting to get outside and take that walk and be healthy.
Setting a good example and teaching resilience during a challenging time. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Like adults, children and adolescents with obesity are at an increased risk of severe COVID-19 disease. Swedish and British researchers found dog owners whose pets have type 2 diabetes are more likely to develop the condition themselves, but there was no connection for cat owners. The findings show dog owners may share certain health behaviors with their pets, like diet and physical activity. Cats, on the other hand, share less habits with their owners. Listening to soothing words and music during surgery may help patients with post-operative pain. A trial at 5 hospitals in Germany compared patients who listened to background music and positive thoughts to those who listened to a blank tape. In the first 24 hours after surgery, those who listened to music reported less pain and less need for opioids. A major retailer wants to help make the COVID-19 vaccine readily available to Americans. More than 5,000 Walmart and Sam's Club pharmacies are being prepared to receive doses once deemed safe for the U.S. The stores are making sure they have freezers and dry ice to store the vaccine. We are in the deadliest time frame of the coronavirus pandemic in America, with 3,100 deaths reported by Johns Hopkins University on Wednesday alone. That's a look at today's health news. We'll have a full look at your forecast next with Doug Hetty, and a little later we share the story of a woman who was scammed in the pursuit of a puppy, but this tale comes with a happy ending.
Well, it definitely turned out to be kind of a raw, nasty day after 75 degrees and sunny skies yesterday. All week long has been just fantastic. And then, of course, we had the on and off showers today and much colder. It's going to be a cold weekend. Rain and snow chances on Sunday, snow chances on Tuesday. So we are entering kind of an active stretch in the pattern. Of course, you can always get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. Kind of cool. Most of us are sitting mainly into the mid-40s. We'll drop back into the upper 30s later on tonight. At least most of the rain is out of here. Looking east from the station, 46 west winds at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Of course, humidity is up there at 87%. We're going to drop back through the 40s down to 40 by midnight. Then I think most of us will bottom out at about 38 or 40 degrees later on tonight. Look at the bands of showers rolling through mainly during the morning hours. And then again, we had some showers picking back up during the afternoon. But most of the rain now is east of us. We still have some showers from Joplin to Springfield down toward Monette, Aurora, Cassville, and then back into northwestern Arkansas. But besides that, we are pretty much done with this system. The snow out across central and western Kansas will scoot northeast, so it will stay mainly north of us. We are going to see the clouds break up a little bit throughout the overnight hours tonight. We're in the dry slot of this storm system, so the clouds will break up a bit and then thicken right back up for us tomorrow. So this is storm number 1 of 3 that we're going to have over the next 5 days. So this is passing by, and then you can see Pacific Northwest. There's our next system, which will start to affect us by Sunday. So let's go through time. Mostly cloudy skies tonight. Will drop back mid to upper 30s. Clouds thicken up again tomorrow. So just kind of a cloudy day, a cold day, as we struggle to really warm up, only into lower 40s. We'll start at 37, 40 by noon, high temp right around 42. Kind of windy, too. Those northwest winds at about 10 to 20. Clouds stick tomorrow night. Here's Sunday morning at 5 a.m. You can see some light snow starting to pick up in our western counties. Here's 9:30 in the morning. I do think this is going to be a rain-snow mix. The snow that we do see will be the big, fat flakes, but most of it's going to melt on impact. We could get a few bursts of moderate snow as we head into Sunday afternoon, but the heaviest by far is going to stay in our southern counties. And then here's 4:30 p.m. The snow will start to taper off and rotate out of the region. So snowfall, again, it's going to have a hard time to accumulate just because it's going to be a rain-snow mix. Our southern counties may pick up 1 or 2 inches once you get down toward Anderson, Cassville, Bella Vista, Grand Lake. I think through the metro, we're probably an inch or less. And then once you get up toward Pittsburgh, a half an inch, maybe just a dusting. So the farther north you live, the less snow you're going to receive. But I do think our southern counties could pick up 1 or 2 inches. And I'll fine tune that through the evening as new data comes down, of course. 42 tomorrow, 37 on Sunday with that rain and snow. Monday, mostly cloudy, 48. A good chance for snow on Tuesday, and we could get a couple inches out of that one. So we got to watch that system as well. And then warming up a little bit late next week.
Well, you know, I love snow as long as I've got nowhere to go.
I love snow as well. I mean,
you love snow no matter what. Thanks, Doug. Don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. We take this time now to honor another 4-state hero. Radio man First Class David Snyder served in the Navy, spending time stationed in Australia and the Philippines. He earned several honors, including several battle stars. His hometown, Parsons, Kansas. We thank you, David Snyder, our 4-state hero. There has been a dramatic rise in online pet scams over the course of the pandemic, including one Washington state woman who lost $2,400 while trying to buy a puppy. A CBS News viewer who heard the woman's story earlier this month was motivated to help. Anna Werner explains.
This is what Jeannie Dixon of Spokane, Washington had been hoping for, a Newfoundland puppy to ease the pain of losing her 19-year-old daughter Charlene last year.
Charlene was going to change the world.
But earlier this month, she told us she'd been scammed, sending over $2,400 to the operators of this website for a puppy named Ben, only to lose it all.
I blame myself because it was a stupid thing to do.
The BBB says online scammers have stolen more than $2.8 million from Americans this year for pets never received. But in this case,
I saw your guys' article.
Local breeder Becky Deacon saw our story on Facebook.
It just made my heart ache reading it. It was just horrible.
She decided to give one of her Newfoundland puppies to Dixon, and with help from CBS Spokane affiliate KREM, reached out to her.
With the way that 2020 has been and the world is right now, I felt like we needed something good to come out of this. And so I just knew that that was going to be the right thing to do.
And for Jeannie Dixon,
it's completely overwhelming that people gave me grace for losing all that money for a dog. But like I told her, Charlene was going to change the world, and she just changed the world for me because of this article.
She named the puppy Maggie. Anna Werner, CBS News, Berkeley, California.
Maggie would normally cost $2,500, the breeder says, which is about the same amount Dixon lost. If you were hoping to finally stock up on Clorox wipes in the near future, you may still have a bit of a weight on your hands. A top Clorox executive says not to expect to see store shelves brimming with the company's popular disinfectant wipes until the middle of next year. The coronavirus pandemic has created an overwhelming demand for the wipes that's still showing up no signs of letting up. This marks the third time this year the company has pushed back its time frame for ending the nationwide shortages of the popular wipes. There may also be a shortage of cookies on store shelves this holiday season. The company that makes Pepperidge Farms cookies warns it is facing a shortage ahead of its busiest season. This includes popular varieties like Milano and Chessman. The CEO blames the shortage on an increase in demand and a labor shortage. Both are results of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. According to a report by Top Data, American cookie consumption has shot up 25% since the start of the pandemic, with 1 in 5 Americans eating 3 or more cookies per day. We'll have a final check of the forecast next. The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, we'll hear more from Missouri health officials on the distribution plan for a COVID-19 vaccine. Plus, we'll learn how Oklahoma's vaccine plan differs from the Show Me states. And in sports, Mitch Halthus tells us what to expect as the Kansas City Chiefs hit the road this weekend. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. In the meantime, let's end things on a cute note. The UK's largest zoo welcomed a new 6-foot-tall arrival into its giraffe herd on Tuesday. Born on the same day as the UK started its rollout of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccination, the female calf has been named Margaret in honor of Margaret Keenan, the first person to receive that vaccine. Carers for the giraffe describe her birth as a ray of hope in a challenging year and say the youngster is doing well. Well, Doug, following that giraffe story and considering the fact that you're at least taller than me, I've got to ask, what's the weather like up there?
Well, yeah, I'm about a foot taller than you. You're a little vertically challenged, of course, but yeah, the weather here, 6'1" is pretty nice. Temperatures are in the mid 40s, but it is going to cool down over the weekend. A lot of clouds for us tomorrow. And then we do have some snow chances on Sunday. We'll be talking more about that tonight at 6.
All right. Thanks, Doug. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we'll be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.